Hello friends, in today's video we are going to try a new technique to make resin art without molds. For that purpose, what I am going to do is use a monstera leaf that I had and trace it on a paper. Cut it and then transform it onto a foam board and then cover it up with cling wrap. Then I am using my glue gun to make an outline of the entire design. Once the first layer dries, make another layer and then continue making a layer till you get the thickness that you require for your resin art. Half an inch of thickness is enough for the wall to make a good deep resin art. Then I use the same technique with parchment paper or wax paper, and in the end I'm going to show you which one has a better result. While working with the cling wrap, I noticed that it has this rough surface, which is good for giving a texture, but when you want to make a mold, you have to make sure that it is sealed properly. So this might be rendered because of the cling wrap, and to ensure that your resin doesn't leak from your mold, take the hot glue gun and cover it from the outer sides to make sure that there is no space left for the resin to escape. This step is important so that you don't end up wasting your resin. Unlike me, do it before you pour your resin, and it is even better if you cover the entire space from outside. Now that the outline has been completely done, we are going to make the resin mixture. The one that I'm using is by Let's Resin. Mix the resin and hardener in 1:1 ratio in a silicone cup and then transfer it into 3 different cups. Next I add mica powder in green, blue and black, and I also added a little bit of chunky glitter to it. Mix it well and my colored resin is ready to pour. Now let's start getting into the fun part. Start by pouring the green into the mold. Randomness is the key. Just make sure that you take care of the outlines, not to bypass them. Now pour some black over the top and then pour the blue on the edges of the mold. Use a wooden stick to roughly move it around into the mold. You can also move around using the foam board to transfer it from one place to another, and then scribble it in to give it that abstract touch with the stick. Here I want to show you that some of the resin has escaped from my mold, and what I'm trying to do is push it in with the popsicle stick and then use my hot glue gun to seal those areas. So I know that there are a certain few areas, like I told you earlier, I didn't know that I'm going to get into this issue. So this is what I mean by covering the sides from the outer area. So from the outside, even if you just cover all those extra space, it's not going to affect your design because it's the outer space. So make sure to seal it, and even though some of the resin has escaped, this may lead to wastage of it, but in the end I'm going to show you that it didn't affect my design. Since some of my resin got wasted, I'm making some more colored resin and then pouring it from the top and doing the same thing with those small leaf coasters that I made. I also want you to notice that the resin didn't escape the mold on the parchment paper, unlike the cling wrap. Now I'm going to let it cure for a day and we are going to demold it the next day. I let it cure for 24 hours. After 24 hours, now I am removing it from the mold. The mold is not reusable, but it is fun to make custom products like this. It was very easy to remove it from the parchment paper, and as you can see, just make sure not to apply too much pressure, otherwise you may break some of the really small edges like in these leaves that I have tried to make. The mold that I made was about 1/4 of an inch, so you can see that it is not very thick, but using this technique, if you use a big glue gun, you can make thicker layers and thicker product. So I want to show you the top and bottom, and as you can see, it's beautiful and the parchment paper came off completely. Now let's demold the cling wrap. I cut the cling wrap from the foam board and now I am removing the glue from the sides. Be careful not to break your design if it is too thin like mine. And it easily comes off. I personally think that the rough edges add to the uniqueness of this art. You may need a torch to melt the cling wrap, which doesn't come off easily from the bottom. So that is the only drawback I found with using the cling wrap. I would highly recommend to use parchment paper, which is much more easier to work with and comes off completely. Once I have demolded my products, what I am going to do is use some metallic acrylic paint to give it a fine edging. I am roughly covering the edges, but if you like, you can cover it up completely as well. And with that, my leaf coasters and leaf tray are complete and it's ready to use. Look how beautiful they look. I just love it. There are so many possibilities for this technique, and this leaf art, as it cures after a few days, it has this 3D band, which is amazing to use it as a decorative bowl as well. And you can also frame it and display it on the wall. Because of that curve, it looks spectacular. So with this, I will leave you for today, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please consider subscribing if you like my ideas, and I'll see you with another simple project soon. Till next time, bye.